Everyone will call to order the meeting of the Merrillville Town Council for today, Tuesday, June 8th at 6:30 p.m. Please stand for the invocation and remain standing for a moment of silence.
Let's pray. Oh God, our Father, we humbly come in your presence this evening. Father, we just pray for wisdom and knowledge without measure for those who have the distinguished privilege and responsibility of leading this community. Father, we pray your blessings upon this community. We pray your blessings upon those who serve, upon those who protect, those who guard. Thank you, Lord, for this privilege and for our time tonight. Thank you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. Hardaway, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Spann?
Here.
Mr. Hardaway?
Here.
Mr. Minchuk? Mrs. Uzelak?
Here.
Mr. Pettit?
Here.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mr. Bella?
Here.
6 present.
6 present. We have a quorum. Thank you. Moving on tonight to petitions, communications, acknowledgments, and remonstrations. Mr. Reardon, can you walk us through these honorable mentions, please?
Yes, thank you. The 3 individuals were involved in assisting the police department. You may recall that there was a lost child, and my understanding is that these 3 individuals came to the aid of this lost child and assisted the police department in returning the child safely to their family. And at this point, I would defer to Chief Catino.
Great. Chief?
Well, this took place about 3 weeks ago at one of our subdivisions up north. The child is 3 years of age. We got a call after an hour and a half that he was missing from the house from his parents. When we finally arrived, we searched the area. We was assisted by other police departments, and we put it out on media. And fortunate, somebody read it, they called it, and we located him on 61st, just before I-65, around 11 o'clock at night. So we're very appreciative with the assistance that we got from the public and the media.
Thank you, Chief. Are any of them in the audience tonight? Sir? What is your name, sir? Paul, thank you for your help and assistance. Really appreciate it. What I'd like to do is just offer a round of applause for stepping up.
Looks like Ashley
Ashley?
is here.
Ashley's
Legorski.
here.
Oh, hi, Ashley. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Martell Clark?
May I add, Mr. President,
Sure.
that I can, if you ride down 61st Avenue and you get to the Regency Park entrance, and then when you drive a little bit further east down to Vermont Street, that's where the kid was found at.
Okay.
And I just think I applaud the Merrillville Police Department and other surrounding communities that helped in assisting to find this child. But I really applaud the citizens that saw this little, I can't imagine, you're driving down the street and you see a little kid, 2 or 3 years old, walking down the street at that time of night. I just think that we appreciate everything that you guys did. And Pat, I thought we was going to have some type of certificate or something.
We do not have them ready for this evening.
We will make sure that you guys get your proper recognition.
Right.
because I definitely appreciate it, and I think that you guys, this is something that you guys should be very proud of. And I know as the councilman in that area, when I got the phone call I think it was a Friday night, I was kind of like at wit's end because I didn't know if I should leave home or stay home or whatever. And then finally, the police department kept me informed as to what was going on, and the residents in Regency Park kept me informed in what was going on. And then at 11 o'clock, when I got the phone call that said that they finally found the little kid walking down 61st Avenue, and that, residents, people that were driving down 61st saw it. And so, I was just relieved, and I just thank you for all that you've done, and you will definitely be recognized at a later date for it. And I'm sorry that we don't have anything tonight, but trust me, within the next week, you will have something. Thank you very
Again,
much.
actually give you a round of applause also, though, tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Moving on tonight to the consent agenda, we have the accounts payable voucher for approval for June 8th, 2021, and the approval of the town council meeting minutes of May 25th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mrs. Uselak for approval of the consent agenda as submitted. Any questions or comments on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Moving on tonight to standing and special committees, Budget and Finance, Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are still looking for suggestions on how to use our American Rescue Plan money, and I'm still waiting on the council and department heads to get back to me with suggestions so that we can start moving forward. Have we received any money yet, Madam Clerk Treasurer?
I'm sorry, it was supposed to come in this week. I'm sorry, I didn't check today.
That's okay. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Affairs, Mr. Pettit.
No report.
Public Works and Utilities, any report for Mr. Minchuk? Mr. Span, Mrs. Uselak?
No.
Thank you. Elections, Public Relations, and Town Beautifications, Mr. Pettit.
Yes, Mr. President. It's that time of year. We did this last year for both of our high schools, and at this time, I'd like to make a motion to make a donation to the Andrean High School golf outing, which will be July 16th. Last year, we did 2 holes at $100 apiece for $200. And then I'd also like to make let's vote on that, Mr. President, if we will.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway, that we donate $200 for 2 holes to support the Andrean High School golf tournament. I better see something for the Pirates too, Mr. Pettit.
I'm right on it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Mr. Pettit.
To that end, Mr. Bella, class of 75, I would like to make a motion that we donate $200 to the Merrillville Football Pirates golf outing, which Linda has researched is coming up, I believe, in might be 10 days, I think she said. So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to also donate $200 to the Merrillville Pirates football team. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Mr.
Thank you for
Pettit?
subbing for Mr. Minchuk on that comment. I know he wouldn't let that go by.
My pleasure.
Other than that, Mr. President, I did notice some work being done on town beautification. The entrance signs, when I was driving up north on Taft Street at 53rd, they were working on those, doing some landscaping, and I'm assuming, I know Jan's not here, Steve, I don't know if you're aware of that. I think they're probably going to be doing all the entrance signs, replanting and planting flowers around the entrance signs in the major thoroughfares, Broadway, 101st, 61st Avenue over there by I-65. Wherever we have a Welcome to Merrillville sign, they'll be landscaping those for us. Steve, we still need to set that meeting up with the bridge entrance signs with NDOT, correct? Okay. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Pettit. Environmental Affairs, Mrs. Uselak.
Yes, thank you, Rick. What I have seen and heard so far, only 38% of the Indiana residents have been vaccinated. So we're hoping for more. And at this time, a lot of people are still wearing their mask and some people are not. I think from our last meeting, we said we would keep ours on till the end of the month until a final decision has been made. But coming into the town hall, we are still requesting you wear a town mask. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel Policy and Employee Benefits, Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're still receiving resumes for our Park Department position, and the deadline for submitting the resume is June the 18th at 12 noon. That's all I have.
Thank you. Public Safety is a report by the committee members, Mr. Span or Mrs. Uselak.
I have none.
Thank you. Economic Development, Mr. Pettit.
No report at this time.
Parks and Recreations, Mrs. Uselak.
All of the parks have been rehabbed in Merrillville except the Curtis Park, which is in Sean's ward.
It's been purchased. We picked out the equipment, though.
Okay, did they pick it out? When
Yes,
did
I
they
did.
do that?
Yep.
When did they do it, Sean?
I gave that to Jan a while back, so I'm assuming it's on order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the only park we're waiting for
Right.
to be completed with the rehab. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Abandoned and Blighted Properties, Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. We still, code enforcement, is still looking to hear from the council as to if there's any areas that you see where homes need to have the grass cut. Please turn them over to code enforcement. And now we have a labor pool that will be responsible for making sure that we get these properties cut in a timely manner now. It used to take us a little while because we were short-staffed, but now we have a crew that's designated to make sure that when these calls go in, that within a few days, that the grass is cut. So Vicki, I just think that let Public Works know anytime you see something where grass needs to be cut. And if not only at property, but in common areas that the town normally cuts, so we can make sure that that's taken care of.
Okay, with vacant properties, we still do the 10-day warning, though.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. That concludes my report.
Chairman Hardaway.
Mr. White.
Yeah, this is for Vicki. I just wanted to follow up on 57th and I believe it's Harrison. I talked to Sheila a little bit about it, but I didn't get a full answer. I still will ride past there and see some things I don't think look good for the community.
Well, it's going to take him a little bit. We gave him, what, a week or 2 weeks to clean that up, Sheila?
We gave him a week. Friday, I told him you would be out there Friday to take pictures. He had quite a bit of stuff to remove. We are in conversation with him about building a garage. It is his construction business, about building a garage to put some of his equipment in and get it off the corner.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to the Dean and Barbara White Community Center, Mr. Pettit.
Activity continues to be robust at the center. We had a very successful volleyball tournament there on Saturday. This coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have I guess I'd call it a regional, multi-state wrestling tournament that will be held at the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. We've made some additional hires through Mr. Hardaway's personnel committee for staffing at the Dean and Barbara White Center. The concession stand is getting closer to completion for the Weiss family field. The scoreboard is up, looks fantastic. Go by there. I'd like to call a committee meeting, Mr. President, for Tuesday, June 15th at 4 p.m. up at the center to go through some things. Steve, I know there's probably some capital things to go through with the core guys, and then some operational things we need to discuss, training, some software issues, things of that nature. So that'll be 4 o'clock on Tuesday, the 15th, Pat, if you can. You got that down? Okay.
And where will that be? At the center?
That'll be at the center.
Okay.
On a side note, on a staff level somewhat, Richard and I are going to be meeting with representatives from the Boys and Girls Club tomorrow at 4 o'clock to talk about a temporary arrangement in the Dean and Barbara White Community Center for the Boys and Girls Club of Merrillville to start, I believe, August 1st, and we're going to be working on the logistics of that. So we'll have that meeting tomorrow and hopefully have a formal announcement at the next council meeting. That's all.
Thank you. That's pretty short for you, Mr. Pettit. Special projects, Chairman, Mr. Hardaway.
Thank you, Mr. President. The 50th birthday committee celebration will meet Thursday at 3 p.m. And this is for Karen and Chaz, and I need your assistance on this. We are looking for all current and past residents that were born in 1971 and will be turning 50 this year. We'd like for them to come out on August the 14th when we have our next birthday celebration and get a picture taken down at the old museum. And we will have that picture and be able to post it so that when we have our third and final celebration, we will post that picture as large as we can get it in the Dean and Barbara White Community Center. So if you could just mention that in your newspaper articles as we continue to go for the next month and a half, that we are looking for everyone that was born in 1971 that will be turning 50 this year or have already turned 50, that either currently live in the town of Merrillville or were born and lived in the town of Merrillville previously. We'd like to have everyone that is willing to participate to come out. Thank you. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Moving on tonight to department and commission reports. Lake County Solid Waste Management District, Councilman White.
No report.
Okay. Northern Indiana Regional Planning, Mr. Hardaway.
No report, Mr. President. Our next meeting is in July.
Stormwater Management and Resources, Matt Lake, Director.
I'll make this quick, and we've completed our project just about at Bon Air Lake with the box culvert. We dropped the normal water level about 7 inches vertically down. Next step is for us to do a study on the entire area. We'll submit a letter of map amendment to FEMA and hopefully get as many houses out of the high-risk flood zone as possible. And that's really the intent, is for the protection of the residents there, as well as increasing property values. So we're at the tail end of that project. I had previously mentioned the State Water Infrastructure Fund grant program. And this year, there'll be $30 million eligible for that. Next year, there'll be another $30 million. So we're going to submit 3 shovel-ready projects for that money. One is Independence Hill, 3rd edition. It's the entire subdivision and all of the stormwater infrastructure within the right-of-way there. Nice. And it's been engineered already, so I think it will score high. The other is the Taney Ditch Crossings, which that's all the crossings from US 30 down to 73rd Avenue. Engineering's wrapping up right about now, so we'll be able to submit that as a shovel-ready project. And the other is Independence Street Phase 2. This is south of what's called the Independence Bowl, south of the 7500 block of Independence Street, to continue that on. Robbins had already engineered it. We just didn't have the funds at the time to do that phase of the project, so we feel confident about that. So if there's any possibility of matching with American Rescue money, I'm not sure. That's more of a Trista question. So we can really maximize our abilities here, and even if not this year, next year, because like I said, next year there's another $30 million on the table. So that's all I have.
John?
Yeah, yesterday one of the neighbors called about the, you know where that water, that canal ends at where?
Yeah, that's the outlet for Bon Air Lake.
Blocked it up there.
Yeah, we had a coffer dam up there, and that really perched up the water, and then we released the coffer dam, and that dropped that level down. So it's going to take a few days to cycle through.
Oh, I went there. They put some new rocks down. That's why the neighbors called me.
We added riprap along there.
It looks nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I went in there, nice and neat and flowing free. I just Want to let you know.
Yeah, we had some happy residents at the,
Oh, yeah.
at the out
Yeah,
west side.
You might can get married or something.
On that note, I'm done with my report, if anybody has other questions. Okay, thanks.
She is your kid.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I'll explain that over barbecue tonight.
Yeah, there you go, honey.
Thank you, Matt. South Shore Visitors and Convention Authority, Mr. Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. Bella. I handed out to the council members an email we received from Katie Hollerby with the South Shore CVA announcing a grant initiative. The focus of the grant is to promote tourism in town. The deadline for submission is September 30th. The maximum amount of the award is $20,000. So I would ask the council, and I'll share this with the department heads as well, to put your thinking caps on and let's look if we can't maximize this grant from the Tourism Bureau.
Great.
And we will be meeting in 2 weeks, and I'll report out at the next available meeting.
Very good, thank you. Department reports, department managers, Steve King.
Okay, so I'm going to touch on the quick update on the paving program. We continue to work in Ward 7 in Barclay Village. It's about 75% done. There's some restoration work, a little bit of paving work left to do. The residents have been real happy. They've been moving their cars out of the way. Everything looks great back in there. They've also moved across the street to Country Club Manor. They started paving. We're about 50% done over there. They started paving in there today. There's not a whole lot of work to do in there, but there is a few streets in there. Ward 1, Bon Air subdivision, the concrete work probably should be done probably end of the week, and they'll start milling and paving once that's done. So we'll be in there end of the week, early next week, getting the paving work done in there. So that's a quick update on that. Mississippi Street is ongoing, scheduled to be completed late November. I think the way Dyer Construction's moving, I think it's going to get done quite a bit earlier than that, so which is good for the traveling public. Just a quick update, the Prusen Center, we got some complaints about the weeds and stuff over there. Public Works Department was over there weed whacking today. They're going to spray some weed killer, get the weeds knocked down. Chief Catino and myself will meet over there tomorrow, decide what landscaping he wants to leave over there. We're going to make it easy to maintain since a lot of people don't spend time over there anymore, but still keep it looking nice at the same time. You'll get some mulch and stuff down over there, and we'll keep moving forward.
Great.
So next meeting, I'll have a more detailed report on the paving. I think there's 1 or 2 additional streets we're going to add on there. I'll have that on there. We'll get it in the council packets, and I'll get that updated, so.
Great.
That's all I have.
Mr. King,
Yes, sir.
we discussed the striping on 61st Avenue.
Yes. Yeah. I got a call into, actually I called today. I called TMC, Traffic Management Corporation, left a message with them. I'm going to get a quote from them, and I'm also going to call Site Services. They do some striping too, but yeah, that needs to get done.
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to do from
Broadway. I-65.
I-65, yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. King.
Good? Okay, thanks.
Mrs. Bunnell.
We ended up getting a copy of the agreement for Pro Champs, and it kind of didn't sound as good as it sounded at the beginning. There was the $100 fee that they were going to charge, but then there's all kinds of things that they were going to add on to that they didn't tell us about at first. They wanted to do a 2-year contract, which I thought was pretty long. And also, they required that we repeal our vacant and abandoned building registration section and use their version. So I contacted Councilman Hardaway, and we thought that was a bit much. So I guess that whole thing was too good to be true.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mr. President, I would just like to commend Vicky and Aja Zaney for their diligence in going through that resolution and ordinance that they had presented to us and catching all of those things prior to us sitting down with them. And that saved us a lot of time because of their due diligence, we were able to just cancel it and told them we'll get back to them. So I appreciate you guys, Vicky, for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shine,
No report.
I guess we'll hear from you later, right? Yes. Okay. Moving on tonight to general orders, we have a first reading ordinance 21-16. It's ordinance of the town of Merrillville, Lake County, Indiana, amending ordinances 21-14, 21-3, and 20-16, and pay for employees of the town of Merrillville, Indiana, for the calendar year 2021. It was in your packets. This has to do with adjustments we made per the fire territory request. They're actually generating or making new positions lieutenants. Is that right, Trista and Kelly?
Yes. Motion approved, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion on the table, a second by Mr. White. Trista?
Yes, Mr. President, that is correct. The fire governing board has added the rank of lieutenant, which they previously did not have. There is money within the current budget, within the appropriation, to simply transfer to this new line item to cover the rest of the year's expenses for that. I didn't get into the details with the chief or his staff about who the human people were, but they are being transferred from the firefighter EMT line up to this lieutenant line. So it's really just a shift.
Okay.
But in order to pay them under this new amount, of course, it needs to be in the salary ordinance. And you'll see that new line. I think it's in the 4th position of the fire department's section on page 2, I believe.
Yeah, page 3.
Page 3?
Right. Anything to add, Kelly?
There are some adjustments in the salary that aren't reflected in the clerk treasurer's office as well. There were some increases in the some of the young ladies who have been here for quite a bit of time and have a lot of responsibility or some added responsibility under my administration. So those will be adjusted in our next amendment.
Okay. Once again, it was a motion by Mr. Spans, seconded by Mr. White for approval of ordinance 21-16. Is there any other discussion from the council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yeah.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
6 in favor, sorry.
6-0, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on tonight to resolutions. We have a resolution of the town of Merrillville, Lake County, Indiana, transferring monies of the 2021 budget within the general fund. It's resolution number 21-35.
Motion approved, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Span, seconded by Mr. White for approval. Madam Clerk Treasurer or Trista, any comments on this one?
You'll see there are 2 different sections involved in this resolution. The first one relates to some bills, it turns out, that were submitted at the end of last year, December of 2020. Based on how the calendar fell and how the bills were processed, they weren't actually paid until the beginning of January, but there had been no encumbrance that was done. And so under the budget framework, it makes it look like there was a negative in those line items, even though the town had the money and you planned to spend it. It just crossed that date line, and we should have handled it collectively just a tad bit differently. I've talked with staff about how to do that better this coming end of year, December 21, so we have a plan in place for that. The money is in the repairs equipment line to simply move over. The second little section there are for the 4 additional bonuses that were given by the council, you might recall, back in February to the members of the court staff who moved to the clerk's office and originally had not been included in that bonus that was given in December. But that leftover piece of that also includes their Social Security. And so the money is coming from the town manager's line, which is the same place that the rest of the money came to pay the bonuses. We simply have to shift it over, again, for accounting purpose on the books, to have everything be in proper order.
Thank you. Any other discussion by the council? Hearing none. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yep.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
6-0.
6-0. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on tonight to Resolution 21-37. This will include a public hearing. It's a resolution confirming the designation of an economic revitalization area and approving the deduction from assessed value of real property improvements.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mrs. Uselak with a second by Mr. Span for approval of Resolution 21-37. So, Joe, how do we open this up for public hearing then on this before we vote?
What you do is you open up the floor for a public hearing.
Okay.
Let all public comment come in, close the public hearing, and go to a vote.
All right. Looks like I skipped a resolution too. We'll come back. Is there any public comment tonight on Resolution 21-37? And Madam Clerk Treasurer, do you want to read some of this? Is it a record?
This is a resolution confirming the, let me get these glasses on. This is a resolution confirming the designation of an economic revitalization area. So it has been requested that 1000 West Lincoln Highway LLC applicant, that an area is an economic, pursuant to, IC 1.1-12.1-2, that an area is an economic revitalization area, which area will contain the project defined here, whereas the town council of the town has prepared a simplified description of the area maps and plats that identify an area, and whereas the area is located within the jurisdiction of the town for the purposes set forth in the statute, whereas the applicant intends to construct a redevelopment project consisting of improvements to the applicant's automobiles service center and related improvements located in the area, and all as described in the statement of benefits submitted by the applicant to the council. Whereas the council has reviewed the statement of benefits, whereas pursuant to the statute on May 25th, 2021, the council adopted a resolution, the declaratory resolution, which designated the area as an economic revitalization area pursuant to the act and approved real property tax deductions under the statute for redevelopment or rehabilitation in the area for 10 years. And whereas in compliance with the statute, the council has published notice describing the adoption and substance of the declaratory resolution, stating on June 8th, 2021, the council will now hold a public hearing at which it will receive and hear all remonstrations and objections from interested persons with respect to the declaratory resolution. Is that sufficient? Can we do it all?
Thank you.
Okay.
Motion to approve, Mr. President.
We already have a motion, I believe, on the floor.
Yes.
From Mrs.
Okay.
Uselak with a second by Mr. Span. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for your enthusiasm.
Okay, I will point out that this is, as Chairman of the Economic Development Committee, this is the web, what we refer to as Project Tucson. I believe the younger and more affluent Mr. Reardon is in the audience, along with the owners of Webb Hyundai. The Webb family is here. Do any of you three folks want to say anything to the council?
Sure. Please approach the podium.
That's just like a Reardon, never met a microphone he didn't like.
Sure.
Mr. President and Council, I wanted to thank you guys for your time this evening. And throughout the duration of the project thus far, aside from a few subsequent meetings, you've heard from me. But this evening, we have representatives from the Webb family who just wanted a minute of your time to thank you and to go from there.
Hi, I'm Brian Webb with Webb Auto Group. Our family's been in Northwest Indiana. We just celebrated our 50 years this year. We've only been in the town of Merrillville for just over 5 years now, but we have to say how refreshing it's been to deal with the town. You've clearly shown that you value our relationship, and we're inspired not just with us, just with your forward thinking with other economic development. We're very encouraged and even more optimistic than coming in 5 years ago. So we're really looking forward to the future, and we're even more than confident that we're in the right place doing business in the town of Merrillville. So I just wanted to express how happy we are to be doing business in the town of Merrillville. With this project, we'll be doubling the size of our dealership at the Merrillville location, which will also be contributing towards the economic development of the town of Merrillville and doing our part. We're adding a lot more new technology with EV, which will generate more jobs with the new technology. So we're looking forward to reinvesting within the town, and thank you for taking the time reviewing this project with us, and we look forward to the future with you guys. Thanks.
Mr. Webb?
Yep.
Are you the owners of the property in Highland? Is that the Webb dealership, the same owner?
Yep, that's us too.
I just want to let you know I was at your property a couple of days ago looking for a newer truck.
Okay. I'll meet with you afterwards.
I just thought I'd let you know I was on your property. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Webb, what is the investment in the town that you're going to be making?
So 7.5 to 8 million, where we're looking.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So.
Is there any public comment tonight on our consideration for this property improvement and the abatement? Any public comment tonight on Resolution 21-37? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, any comments by the council? Thank you, Mr. Webb, for your investment in the town. Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span.
Aye.
Mr. Hardaway.
Yes.
Mrs. Userlak.
Yes.
Mr. Pettit.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Bella.
Yes.
6 in favor.
6 in favor, motion
Welcome to
carries.
town.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to continue on with the public hearing ones, and then we'll come back to the one I skipped over. So moving on tonight to Resolution 21-38. It's a resolution confirming the designation of the economic revitalization area and approving the deduction from assessed value of real property improvements and certain eligible new equipment.
So moved.
Second.
Chair will recognize a motion by Mr. Pettit, second by Mr. Hardaway for approval of 21-38. Madam Clerk Treasurer, anything to add?
No.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. It basically allows, because of the development that they are going to be doing an investment in town, allows them tax abatement by designating the property as economic development revitalization area.
Very good. And this is for Pure Development, Inc.? Is that what we're saying tonight, Mr. Reardon? Or
It's for Pure Development, Inc., the developer, and also their single-tenant Domino's.
Are the demonstrations here, or the tenants here?
Yes, there are representatives for both in the audience.
Would you please approach the podium if you have a question?
Yeah.
Good evening, Council. My name is Karen Lauerman. I'm President and CEO of the Lake County Economic Alliance. We work with your town administration, Mr. Pat Reardon, to bring jobs and investment to Merrillville and all of Lake County. Pure Development is working with Domino's, and we have two representatives this evening. I'll let them speak to their projects and answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Good evening, I'm Brian Palmer. I'm a principal with Pure Development. We're based in Indianapolis, and we are working with Domino's to develop a 110,000 square foot facility at Ameriplex along I-65 south of the Dawn Foods project. Building's expandable to approximately 150,000 feet.
Thank you, Brian.
Good evening, Council. My name is Matthew Zay. I'm the Vice President of Development for Domino's Pizza. and we are going to be the tenant for Pure Development. We're super excited to be constructing this facility in Merrillville. Look forward to a successful project. Our groundbreaking is scheduled for September 17th, I believe, and we'll be extending an invite to the council members so that you guys can be in attendance. And also to Councilmember Pettit, we have received the application for the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So may we assume there's going to be pizzas at the groundbreaking ceremony?
There will be.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions or comments by the council?
I'd just like to, on behalf of the client and the developer, thank the council for their consideration of the abatement and being forward-thinking in this opportunity for investment.
Thank you, Karen. Is there any public comment tonight on the tax abatement for Domino's and Pure Development, Inc.? Is there any public comment tonight on Resolution 21-38? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yes.
Mrs. Usulak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
6 in favor.
6 in favor. Motion
Welcome to
carries.
town, guys. Thank you.
Moving on tonight to Resolution 21-39. It's a resolution of the Town of Merrillville adopting Resolutions 2026. Mr. Reardon, are we discussing the, any more details on this now?
This is overall resolution addressing the fact that in the existing Crow Holdings building under construction where Midwest is at, the document references those actions taken by the council, and this resolution is necessary so as to first allow Crow Holdings to fully benefit, I should say, from the tax abatement previously awarded, and also to provide the way for the two new tenants, Quality Pasta and Turbonetics, to access the personal property tax abatement program as previously approved.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Pettit. Chair will recognize Mr. Hardaway for a second on Resolution 21-39. So Pat, this is the final step in
It is, sir.
okay. Any discussion by the council? Karen, anything to add?
We have representatives from Crow Holdings. We also have representative from Quality Pasta and also from Turbonetics. If you'd like to hear from them again, we'd be more than happy to invite them up to say a few words. Otherwise, the council has heard from them previously. It's at your discretion.
If they would like to add anything, we're certainly happy to hear from them.
We'll hear from Matt Cruz from Crow Holdings.
Okay.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate the council's forward thinking on this. We actually closed on another 27.5 acres yesterday within the Ameriplex Park. We'll be starting construction on a second spec building, hopefully on Monday. So that'll be another $25 million investment in the town. That's obviously built on a speculative basis, but we couldn't be more thrilled with the quality and caliber of tenants that we've attracted and you all have attracted to the town of Merrillville through all the efforts of the council members. So thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And just as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, the speculative development is without a tenant, so they will be building that building without a tenant in tow, but the idea is that working with the town administration, Mr. Reardon, the council, and LCEA, we will find tenants very quickly. And then I think, Mr. Reardon, these projects are going to be bringing over, all three combined will be bringing over 300 jobs to Merrillville. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from the council? Is there any public comment tonight on Resolution 21-39? Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Seeing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call.
Mr. Span?
Aye.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yep.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
6 in favor.
6 in favor, motion carries.
Thank you all very much for your forward thinking and for being a very welcoming community.
Thank you, Karen. Backing up to Resolution 21-36, Madam Clerk Treasurer.
This is a resolution in which Merrillville is interested in a program of community development provided by the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. It encourages municipalities to enter into cooperation agreements with the county regarding the said act, and the County of Lake has expressed its desire to qualify as an urban county under the provisions of this act. So the council is now entertaining essentially becoming part of the community development activities with the county.
Thank you.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion from Mr. Hardaway, second by Mr. Span for approval of Resolution 21-36, authorizing the town to enter into the Housing and Community Development Act grant program. Any discussion from the council? Let's do a roll call.
Mr. Span?
Aye.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yeah.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
6 in favor.
6 in favor, motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for indulging us. Moving on tonight to Board of Zoning Appeals actions. I'll turn it over to Ms. Shine.
BZA actions, petitioner Linda Ramos, owner Juwan Ford, request special exception approval to allow a cafe located at 281 West 80th Place in a planned unit development, C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District. Karen, Linda, you can come to the podium. Petitioner is requesting special exception approval to allow a proposed cat cafe to be located at 281 West 80th Place in a C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District. The proposed cat cafe will consist of an upscale coffee shop paired with a cat lounge. The cats will have their own designated area called the Cat Lounge, where customers will be able to mingle with the cats and adopt if they choose. The Cat Lounge is an alternate foster environment for cats to be paired up with forever families. The Cat Lounge will consist of 800 square feet of open area with climbing, shelves, bedding, and couches. Petitioner will partner with the Lake County Animal Shelter to provide approximately 6 cats that are eligible for adoption to be fostered at the Cat Cafe. The cats will have been health screened, up-to-date vaccines, spayed, and neutered. The shelter will handle the adoption, background checks, paperwork, and fees. Shelter will supply necessary nutritional needs, litter boxes for the cats. A private donation box will be on site with the key issue to shelter staff and 100% going to the shelter. The staff that will be handling the food cannot be the same staff that handles the cat per the Lake County Health Department. Any age is welcome, but only those 7 and up can enter the Cat Lounge. Children between 7 and 12 must have an adult with them. The name of the Cat Cafe will be the Region Cat Cafe. The hours of operation are Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., closed Monday, Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Friday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Region Cafe will employ approximately 6 to 8 people for this petitioner only, at this location only, for this use only.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion by Mr. Hardaway, second by Mr. Span for approval of Cat Cafe. Are there really 141 cat cafes in the country currently?
There truly are. Yes.
Can I give you a picture of my wife so that you don't let her in?
Yeah.
You already have 3 cats.
Boy.
And I think we're okay. We'll talk after the meeting.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pending your vote.
No offense, we'll come for coffee, but, besides what Sheila just said, do you want to give us a little background and what you're doing and why you chose Merrillville to do this?
So location, and Merrillville is a perfect location. Obviously, just off of I-65, right there on Broadway. I think it's ideal for this type of location. Generally, you'll find these cat cafes in big cities, which is what really makes this unique. I've had a couple people now say to me, I can't believe you're bringing something city around here. So people are really excited about that. So I think, again, when we walked into the building, the former Cafe Fondue, we saw it as the perfect ideal place for what we're trying to create and the atmosphere that we want. We are big animal advocates, and I think we need to come a little bit further with the humane treatment of animals, and I think animal shelters are wonderful. I think foster care was a step up, and that's wonderful. But I think if we can put animals in a more natural environment and allow people to come in and actually get to know them, that we'll have better success rates with adoption, and I think they'll end up in cats will end up in better homes. And also the ones that get overlooked in a shelter environment will have a better opportunity to shine and really show off their personalities in an environment like this.
That's great, thank you. Any other questions or comments for this petitioner?
I have one more comment, too.
Oh, sure.
And I think you're forward-thinking. I agree, and I love cars, I love pizza, and I love pasta. But wow, you're really forward-thinking if you allow the Cat Cafe to come to Merrillville, and there's a lot of people looking forward to it. There's no one else within 2 hours of here, so we will be the only place, if you want to visit a Cat Cafe in the region, to visit one. So I think that's going to be a really big draw for us. And also, we're kind of out with the region rats and in with the region cats. That's where we stuck with the region name. You'll see that on our logo.
I like that.
We'll get you a T-shirt. We'll get you a T-shirt.
Ms. Petitioner, how many cats are you talking about?
We're planning on 6 to 8.
Okay.
6 to 8 cats.
And they won't be, they'll be isolated from the food part, correct?
Correct. There will be a large wall that'll be built with windows. So when you walk in, you'll have an opportunity to either enter into the cat lounge, or you can just view them from the outside if you want to sit with your laptop. We'll have some bench seating there. There's also, if you've ever been in Cafe Fondue, there's a mezzanine with windows on top that overlook the cat lounge, so you don't necessarily have to go in to get the experience. So you'll have an experience no matter where you're at, which is, again, why that location was so ideal to us, to be able to offer that to the public.
Sounds nice. What kind of food are you talking about?
So we're going to do some sandwiches, probably a choice of about 3 sandwiches, some healthy choices there, some pastries, maybe not as healthy choices. We'll have coffee and tea, we'll have sodas and water, and we do have a 2-way liquor license, so at some point we will offer beer and wine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, this will be a first for me.
Me 3.
Any other questions or comments by the council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Mr. Span?
Aye.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Meow.
6 in favor.
Motion carried.
5 in a cab.
Sounded like a meal.
Wow.
Thank you, Council and Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Welcome to town.
Next petitioner, the Haunted Hills Incorporated, Joel and Shannon Hill. Purpose to allow a live-action walk-through haunted house, location 7611 East Lincoln Highway in the C3 Commercial Zoning District. Petitioner is requesting special exception approval from Section 21-36 to allow a live-action walk-through haunted house attraction to be located at 7611 East Lincoln Highway, Crown Point, Indiana, in the C3 Highway Commercial Zoning District, to be known as Haunted Hills Incorporated. This is a professional haunted attraction company that has been in business for 6 years and is bound by all local and state ordinances and codes. The company is fully covered with the necessary liability insurance with 0 claims. Haunted Hills Incorporated is a family-owned operation with morals and standards that are respectful of neighbors. The haunted house experience will consist of a midway area. This is the main area of customer congregation while waiting to get into the haunted attraction, Haunted Hills Hospital. Haunted attraction has a virtual queue line that texts the customers when it is time for their turn to enter the attraction. This allows for them to enjoy the other amenities while they wait. Food vendors will be required to obtain the proper permits from the Lake County Health Department. Merchandise vendors, carnival-style games, 5-minute escape room, and a tarot card reader will be on site. Customers are able to interact with the roaming actors. Music is being played for customers to be entertained and to get into the haunted house mood. The dates of the operation are regular season, last week in September, first week of November, October 30th and 31st, and occasional special events around selected holidays. The hours of operation are Friday and Saturday, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. during operational days, Sunday 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. during operational days, weekdays when applicable, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. during operation date. Special kids days, hours, selected Saturdays and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Haunted Hills will employ 20 regular year-round employees and 50 to 75 seasonal employees. Conditions are for this petitioner only, at this location only, and for this use only, and they are to adhere to the security recommendations of the Merrillville Police Department.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hardaway, second by Mr. Span for approval. Tell us what you're thinking, guys.
Halloween.
Well, not just Halloween. A few years back, we had wanted to move to the town of Merrillville, and we had talked to some other property owners here. And at the time, we just didn't have the funding to move forward on that. And so now we're in a better opportunity now, and we found a place it's kind of out of town. It's not around residents where, you know, it would affect any of those. And our plan is to build a destination to almost like a theme park where people will journey to this town and want to come and see what we've done. In the past, we've always dealt with, like the police officers, we always hire off-duty police officers. We've never had any issues with the state or the local fire codes. We've always went above and beyond because safety is number one. You know, it's when you're going to a haunted attraction, you know, as an owner, you're taking a risk, and as a patron is visiting it, you're taking a risk. So we've always went above and beyond on what was required of us. We've never had claims of any kind. We've always carried, you know, the insurance, and I don't know if you guys have all looked into what's required of haunted houses, but it's astronomical. And you know, as I said, we're now in a better situation where we can afford to move forward and invest into this business, and we think that we found the perfect location there, you know, pending that you guys accept us.
Mr. Pettit?
Do you go all the way down to 83rd Avenue with the frontage for Ringo's?
Yes.
It's a through lot from 30 to 83rd Avenue, correct?
Yeah, the plan would be, I'm assuming you're gonna ask about parking, or like
Well, I'm asking about
congestion in the area. The plan is to have people come off of 30 to enter, park on site, and then they would leave on 83rd and head to Randolph. This will only affect people on days that we are open in the evening.
So they leave off of they go down 83rd Avenue?
Back to Randolph.
Was there any remonstrators, Sheila?
No.
No adjoining property owners came? I didn't realize that was gonna be the traffic pattern, guys. And Chief Catino, as you know, Randolph and that hill is dangerous.
Our plan was to have security there directing traffic.
At Randolph and 83rd? Or on 83rd?
Onto 83rd from the back.
I'm not worried about getting onto 83rd. Nobody goes down 83rd. I'm more worried about the traffic flow from 83rd going north and south onto Randolph, because people fly down Randolph because some councilman decided to repave the entire road.
That's why we work closely with the police department.
Yeah.
Have them come up with a plan that we can follow, you know, because we're not traffic specialists, we're haunted house specialists.
Right.
Normally.
What about noise? Is there gonna be live music and things out there, or?
Live music, no.
No?
No, we just.
Sound effects?
Yeah.
Well, we typically have some kind of audio, but it'll be directed towards Route 30 with where the midway is at. The audio that is happening inside the haunted house will be basically unable to be heard by anyone outside the haunt, maybe slightly, but it won't affect anything.
Joe, any comments from the BZA?
Again, I attended the meeting, there were no remonstrators. They made a presentation and there was a recommendation by the BZA, I think, for its approval tonight, so.
Well, I would ask, I think it was Councilman Hardaway and Councilman Span to amend their motion to include a 6-month review. And I guess Steve and Luther, I'd want to see I want to see what's going to happen at that intersection at 83rd and Randolph. If there's going to be traffic dumped onto 83rd, and what, if anything, the first thought that comes to mind, Steve, is, which is I know might be dangerous with that hill, is do we want to make 83rd and Randolph a 3-way stop?
Well, that I'm not too sure about, but we could always, when they're exiting, you could always have to go west on 83rd.
To 51? Yeah.
Do a port.
We only chose to go back to Randolph just because it was the shortest distance to get them back to Route 30.
Well, you're not gonna stop people. I appreciate your comment, Steve. People are gonna wanna go where they're gonna wanna go. If legally, we put a 3-way stop in there at Randolph, which I'm not opposed to, I would defer to my engineer and my chief of police. Again, that hill, when you're sitting there going eastbound on 83rd and you look to your left, that traffic is flying over that hill going southbound. Everybody going to Auburn Hills, going to Winfield, all that, and then, which I hope you guys are successful, you're gonna be dumping more traffic onto that intersection is my only concern.
Well, at our current location, as I said, we hired the police and they came out and our parking lot is across the street. So what they did is they set up their cars in the road, put the crosswalk in between them, and they directed the traffic of, who was allowed to go through as they let and as I said, we're not traffic specialists, we're not police officers, and we work closely with them, and, we always set up a salary that we're gonna pay the officers that are gonna be out there. So they're compensated for their time.
Yeah.
We also work very closely with the fire department, so they're well aware of, as I said, haunted houses are held to stricter guidelines than just typical buildings or businesses.
Yeah.
So we like to keep that relationship between the police department and with the fire department, because that's our two biggest, issues that we have to go up against when, building these haunted attractions.
I would also, not only the 6-month review to Mr. Hardaway and to Mr. Span, but to Mr. King, if they're gonna put an entrance onto 83rd, you guys are gonna have to light that entrance. You're gonna have to get a street light on your dime. All right, so that people see that intersection. I know you're gonna have people controlling that, but I'd rather have that, it's dark out there. You guys have been out there.
Who would we coordinate that through?
We need to have that lit.
No, who would we?
Okay. Yeah. Talk with Steven, he'll get you the information.
Are you Steven? Steven?
I amend my motion. to 6-month review.
And the light.
Mr. Hardaway, can
light.
you also add the light?
Yes, and the light.
Thank you.
Second.
What does the 6-month review mean
We're
specifically?
going to take another look at it.
Have a look at it and see if there's any incidents, traffic incidents.
To see if we need a stop sign or a divert
Stop
traffic
sign
to
or-
51 instead of,
yeah.
yeah, that sort of thing.
Just see how you're complying
Traffic
with all the
review.
ordinances of the town of Merrillville as well, so.
See if anything needs to be adjusted.
If you need any black cats for the haunted house, see Linda after the meeting.
Go to the Cat Cafe. Region,
You
Just
could-
so clarify, so you're saying like you'll check back in 6 months?
Yeah.
So we could technically move
We'll check
forward.
back with, yeah, to see how it's
Yeah, we'll
going.
check with you in 6 months
Why
and
have you
see
back
how
in 6
everything's
months?
working.
Okay.
Check with the police department, see if there's any accident reports, if there's any other kind of problems through Sheila's department.
Now, could it be something like, if it's an issue to have it be a permanent stop sign, could it be something like what the water park does, where it's a temporary thing, like the stoplight that they put in?
We'll have to look at that. I mean, how much traffic are we talking about? And your traffic doesn't all arrive at one time and all leave at one time, right?
No,
It flows
they-
through the house, right?
Correct, and then we do have other things for them to do while they're
Okay.
waiting, so the typical guest could be there, for an hour or two.
So Sheila, what was the estimated traffic count for the business? Did we have something for that?
No, we don't have the traffic account.
Okay.
But they're getting out of their cars, correct? Or are they
Yeah.
driving through the
Yeah.
property?
No, they're parking on the
They're
property.
parking and then
coming,
they're-
yeah, so
they're
they'll be there
leaving.
for
Yeah,
There's a
like an
big-
hour or two.
yeah.
Well, the only reason why I mentioned going the other way down 83rd to Grand, if they're gonna have police out there directing, and they could just, worst case scenario, they could just direct them in that direction and not let them.
Well, that's true.
If it's gonna be controlled, I mean, they could.
Well, then I think that they need to coordinate that with Steve and then with Chief
Yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of the safety plan out there.
right.
We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Chief, how do you pronounce your last name? I can't read your last name.
Catino.
Oh, Catino, okay.
Any
My
other-
question is, you stated that the police was doing service for you before?
Correct.
Was it Merrillville or?
No, this was in Lake Station.
On Lake Station?
Yes.
Yeah, they predominantly just dealt with traffic concerns because of where we were parked at. Customers had to cross Central Avenue, so they helped with crossing. That won't be a problem here. The only reason we would need help with the, traffic is to get cars in and to get cars out safely because of it moving off of 30 and then onto 83rd.
I did have a question, Mr. President. Is this going to be like letting all those vehicles out at one time, or?
No, you probably have, every 5 minutes, you'll have a car leaving out of there.
Then a police officer will stop the traffic and let that car out?
Well, our intentions is to have the police completely control our traffic coming out of our parking lot. If they say, everybody has to go out here and do a donut, then, hey, that's the rule. If you're gonna come visit our place, and the police say you gotta do a donut when you leave, then.
No, my concern was pretty much what Councilman Pettit was, and how it impacts the traffic flow.
Yeah.
That's what.
There could be one car, there could be a couple every, couple of minutes, but it wouldn't be like a steady stream of cars going in. There may be a few cars, more cars coming in at the very beginning of the evening when people are first coming in. But after that, it would be more of, a trickle effect, people coming in, and then when they're done for the evening, going to their cars, and they would leave. But
But they enter on 30 and they leave on 83rd. They
Correct.
can't leave onto 30.
Correct. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at it, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Span, is your second hold for a 6-month review on the installation of the light on 86th?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments by the council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer.
Mr. Span?
Yes.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes.
6 in favor.
6 in favor. Welcome to town, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Come out and see us get scared this fall.
We like PepsiCo.
It'll be spectacular, I'm sure.
It should be.
Steve, don't be afraid when you go down 83rd Avenue, okay? It's just the potholes.
Moving on to
special exception approval from Z21E705 petitioner Francesca Cooley, owner Broadway Plaza 2, to allow a daycare center at 6049 Broadway in a C2 Community Commercial Zoning District. Petitioner is requesting special exception approval from Section 21-136 to allow a daycare center to be located at 6049 Broadway in the C2 Community Commercial Zoning District. Proposed daycare center would serve ages 3, 4, and 5 years old on their way to kindergarten. After-school care will consist of children 5 to 13 years of age. The daycare center will be known as Self and STEM Academy. Self and STEM is a therapeutic daycare which focuses on not only building up the child academically, but emotionally as well. A licensed mental health counselor and social worker are on staff. The curriculum, STEAM based, means incorporates science, technology, engineering, art, and math. The proposed daycare has met the Indiana State Board requirements for a child care center. The director, Francesca Cooley, has a master's of social work and is a licensed mental health counselor. The bus driver is Darren Wash, the receptionist is Tina Wilburn, and the teacher is Jaleesa, and she has a bachelor's of art. And on-site therapist, Rachel Brown, a master's of social work. The present staff members are the individuals that will be employed the first 30 days of opening. As the facility grows, more staff will be hired. This staff is for 8 children. The ratio will be 1 to 8. New hires will go through extensive training and a full background check. Requirements. The meals will be catered by Just a Dish. A sample menu is included in the staff report. The proposed daycare center will follow cleaning and COVID-19 guidelines. A sample of the cleaning schedule also included in the staff report. This includes spraying each surface with COVID-19 cleaning solution, clean each desk, vacuum, wipe door handles, knobs, and light switches, cleaning of bathroom 1 and bathroom 2, and wipe down all doors and Lysol all rooms. The hours of operation are 5:45 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. for the daycare. The after-school program starts at 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. There was a daycare in this space before, and there is an existing playground that is fenced in. Petitioner has a lease with the Broadway Place LLC, and also the Merrillville Fire Inspector has inspected this facility. For this petitioner only, at this location only, and for this use only.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Hardaway, second by Mr. Span for approval of this petitioner.
I have a question.
Mrs. Uselak.
Yes, how many children are you going to have in there during the day with the daycare?
Well, we're only going to start with 8 children, but we're starting with 8, but the facility can hold up to 95, but due to COVID, we will not hold that many children.
Okay, you've already been approved by the state with the license?
Well, I couldn't be approved until I received my license from Merrillville, so it's a process.
You have to wait for our approval?
Yes, ma'am, and then I have to.
Anything from Indianapolis?
I can't hear you, ma'am.
I said you have to wait until you have our approval?
Yes.
To get a license
I had
from
to send.
Indianapolis?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
The state changed that about 3 years ago, where the municipality has to approve the facility before they'll let the state come in and get a license. So she'll send her business license down to the state, and then they'll send their state fire inspector up and the state people to inspect the facility.
Have you been involved with this kind of work before?
I was the therapist at the previous daycare when they were open.
You were where?
I worked at the facility, the daycare. It was a daycare before. I was the therapist on staff then.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hardaway, any comments?
No, it's my ward.
Yep.
And they ran a great program prior to their closing. And there were never any incidents then, and I don't foresee any incidents now.
Very good. Any other questions or comments by the council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk Treasurer, roll call, please.
Mr. Span?
Aye.
Mr. Hardaway?
Yes.
Mrs. Uzelak?
Yes.
Mr. Pettit?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Bella?
Yes,
6 in favor.
6 ayes. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Moving on tonight to old business. Is there any old business before us, council? Hearing none, any new business tonight? Open to public comment. Is there any public comment this evening? Please step up to the podium and give us your name and address. Okay. Announcements, Plan Commission meeting June 15th at 6:30.
Mr. President, that's been canceled.
Yes.
Oh, I take back that announcement.
Lack of agenda.
Yes. RDC meeting June 22nd at 6 o'clock. Town council meeting, our next one is June 22nd at 6:30.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Council, please stay and sign the ordinances, resolutions.